Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here. Again, we've got another video for you, and I think this one is really special. So, here we go. Today, I want to tell you a parable. A story about a virtue that feels both timeless and more important than ever. Honesty. This is a story that reminds us why, in the end, truth always rises. Picture this. A wise and aging emperor, ruling over a vast and prosperous kingdom, knew the time was coming to choose a successor. But he didn't want to choose from his advisors or generals. He wanted someone with true character, someone with unwavering integrity. So, he devised a unique test. He summoned all the children in the kingdom to the palace. The courtyard was buzzing with excitement and nervous energy. The emperor appeared before them, his voice calm but firm. He held up a small, simple bag. Inside this bag, he announced, "Our seeds. I will give one seed to each of you. Your task is simple. Take this seed, plant it, water it, and nurture it. In 1 year from today, you will return here with what you have grown. The child who presents the most beautiful plant will be declared my successor and the next emperor." Can you imagine the excitement? The children clutched their seeds like precious jewels. They rushed home, their minds racing with dreams of royalty. They told their parents, who were equally thrilled, offering advice on the best soil, the best pots, and the best sunlight. All across the kingdom, a flurry of gardening began. Among these children was a boy named Ling. Ling was known for his love of nature and his skill in the garden. Everything he touched seemed to blossom. He took his seed home with the same hope as everyone else. He chose a beautiful blue ceramic pot, filled it with the richest soil he could find, and carefully planted the emperor's seed. He placed the pot on his windowsill where it would get gentle morning sun. Every single day, without fail, Ling watered his pot. He watched it, he talked to it, he was patient. A week passed, then 2, then a month, but nothing happened. Not a single green shoot broke through the soil. The earth in his pot remained barren and brown. Ling was confused. He was the best gardener. He knew. He tried repotting the seed in a different container with new, nutrient-rich soil. He moved it to a spot with more sun. He adjusted the water, making sure it was never too much or too little. But still, nothing grew. His pot remained stubbornly empty. Meanwhile, all around him, incredible stories were spreading. Other children were showing off their progress. They had sprouts that grew into magnificent flowers and lush plants. The talk in the streets was of towering sunflowers and exotic orchids. The other children would walk past Ling's house, sometimes glancing at his empty pot with a mix of pity and scorn. Ling felt a growing sense of shame. He had started with so much confidence, and now he felt like a complete failure. His friends would ask him, "Ling, how is your plant?" He would just shake his head, his cheeks burning. His father, seeing his distress, suggested, "Son, perhaps you could buy a beautiful plant from the market. No one would know the difference. You tried your best, but the seed was clearly defective." The idea was so tempting. He could avoid the public humiliation of showing up with nothing. But then he looked down at his hands, still smudged with soil from his daily, hopeful efforts. Something inside him, a quiet but firm voice, told him that would be wrong. "No, father," he said softly. "If I go to the emperor, I must go with the truth of what I have grown, even if it's nothing." The year finally came to an end. Children from every corner of the kingdom streamed toward the palace, carrying their botanical masterpieces. The courtyard was transformed into a breathtaking garden, and then there was Ling. He walked slowly, head held low, clutching his plain, empty pot. He heard whispers and giggles. "Look at him! He couldn't even grow a weed." One boy snickered. He wanted to turn and run, but he took a deep breath and kept walking. The emperor emerged and began his inspection. He walked slowly through the forest of beautiful plants, his face unreadable. After what felt like an eternity, he reached the back of the crowd, and his eyes fell on Ling and his empty pot. He gestured for Ling to come forward. Trembling, Ling walked to the front. The emperor looked down at the empty pot and then into Ling's eyes. A slow, warm smile spread across his face. He raised his voice so everyone could hear. 1 year ago, I gave you all a seed. I told you to plant it, nurture it, and bring it back to me today. He then placed a hand on Ling's shoulder. But today, he declared, I have found my successor. This boy shall be the next emperor. The crowd gasped. But your majesty! One father cried out. His pot is empty. The emperor held up a hand for silence. Because, he explained, every single seed I gave you 1 year ago was boiled. It was impossible for them to grow. A collective, stunned silence fell over the crowd. The children looked at their magnificent plants, their faces a mixture of shock and shame. The emperor continued, his gaze resting once more on Ling. When your seeds failed to sprout, you all substituted them. You chose to present a beautiful lie rather than an ugly truth. Only one person here had the courage and the honesty to bring me the result of their true effort. Only Ling was brave enough to show up with his failure. The lesson of that day was powerful. Honesty costs courage. It's not always the easy path. It might make you look like a failure in the eyes of others. But truth has a quiet, unshakable power that, in the long run, always rises. We live in a culture that celebrates the highlight reel, the perfect picture. But life, true life, honors authenticity. False growth, like the children's beautiful but dishonest plants, eventually fades. True character, like Ling's empty but honest pot, remains. It's the solid foundation upon which a meaningful life is built. So let your deeds align with your values. Acknowledge your strengths, but also have the courage to face your weaknesses and your empty pots. Integrity is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It's the currency of trust and the source of deep personal peace. Remember this simple truth. The most beautiful garden you can ever cultivate is the one watered with truth. Thank you so much for watching. If this message resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you would hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content. See you next time!